Dear Ray, I've had bees for over a year and I've been at a loss to figure out exactly what goes into making a quart of sugar water. Can you please give me some real answers? I've searched everywhere and I can't find it. That's what we're going to talk about today, and we're going to compare it to nectar in the environment. Dizzy, let's ask Claude what the ratio of sugar to water is like in a soft drink, okay? All right. So, Claude, I just want to let you know you're live on my video right now. Hi friends, my name is Ray. Welcome to my beekeeping channel. I first started keeping bees with my dad over 50 years ago, and I'm a certified master beekeeper through the University of Florida. And the intro, well, that was an actual email that I got from a local beekeeper here in my state. And I got to thinking about this, and I even volleyed back with him and said, hey, would you benefit from me making a video explaining the whole concept of sugar water? And his response was a yes with an exclamation point. And then I ran it by another friend who said, yeah, I want to know what's going on. Like, how can I understand the why behind the concept of sugar water and how it compares to nectar in the environment? So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you exactly how to make a quart jar of sugar water, since I assume that a lot of people that watch my channel are backyard beekeepers and make sugar water in small batches, like in quarts. I'm going to show you how to do it without weighing any sugar at all. I'm going to give you the exact formula to be able to make 1-to-1 sugar water. No scale needed, just take a quart jar and some sugar. And so we're going to go over that in just a minute. But first, I want to start with this chart that I'm going to pop up here behind me. I feel like this chart can really be helpful to help you to understand the ratios of sugar water. So I know beekeepers typically talk about sugar water in regard to two ratios. 1-to-1 sugar water and 2-to-1 sugar water. The first part is the parts of sugar to the amount of water. 1-to-1 sugar water is thinner. 2-to-1 sugar water obviously has twice as much sugar in it, so it's going to be a much thicker sugar water. I'm going to really focus today just mostly on 1-to-1 sugar water, and what I want to do first is compare 1-to-1 sugar water to actual nectar that the bees get in the environment. Because as beekeepers, we are kind of trying to replicate that carbohydrate need that the bees get from gathering up nectar in the environment. You know what I'm talking about when you pull that little honeysuckle out and you get that little drip of nectar on the end that you put in your mouth. Maybe you did that as a kid, or maybe you still do it as an adult. Don't blame you, it sure is special. So how thick and what is the percentage of ratio that bees get with nectar in the environment? So let's talk about that first. Now, if you look at this chart behind me, you're going to see different kinds of nectar. And that's my first point. Nectar in the environment is not consistent as far as the ratio of sugar to water. Thin nectar has about 20% sugar and about 80% water. That's a ratio of 1-to-4. Average nectar has about 30% sugar and about 70% water. That's a ratio of about 1-to-1.23. Rich nectar that has a lot more sugar in it is going to have about 40% nectar and about 60% water. And so we have quite a variation. Let's start with just understanding that the amount of sugar can be half as much or twice as much depending on the flower, the time of year, the amount of rain that's in the environment. All of these factors can contribute to the density of sugar water. As beekeepers, we feed what is a 1-to-1 sugar ratio, which is by weight. And so that means that it is 50% sugar to 50% water. Now, this is going to be a very rich nectar source that's very rarely found in most environments, although it does exist out there. And again, there's a lot of factors of why it might exist. So when we feed 1-to-1 sugar water, we're feeding something that is a little bit more carbohydrate dense than what the bees actually find. And there's some advantages to that for the bees, because they're going to take that sugar water, they're going to mix it with their enzymes, pass it from bee to bee, they're going to evaporate it down, and they can actually even make a honey-like substance from that sugar water, which is what you'll find in your hive eventually if you fill it with sugar water over time. But that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother video. What I want to emphasize here at the front end of this video is simply this. Your sugar water ratio does not need to be exact. You don't need to take a pair of tweezers and start counting sugar granules in order to get it exactly what it needs to be, because the bees are used to varying densities of carbohydrates when it comes to the ratio of sugar to water when they are out foraging. And they're able to adapt quite a bit. The second thing I really want to emphasize here is that 1-to-1 sugar water, which is the thinner ratio that beekeepers use, is on the very high end or even above the high end of what the bees normally get in the environment. So if you make it a little weaker than that, you're going to be okay. So I want to ask you, are you interested in doing a live question and answer with me on a Sunday night, talking about perhaps the summer dearth right now, how to prepare for it and plan for it? And I was thinking about doing a live. I've never done a live before, but I was thinking about doing a live session. Really interested to see how many people might be interested in doing that here in the next couple of weeks. So if you are, leave a little word down in the comment section to say yes to the live session. I do know that there's been some research that says if you make that sugar water too weak, just putting an inch of sugar inside of a quart jar, that it can be unattractive to the bees. So it needs to be at least what they're finding in the environment. But I just want you to know, like, it doesn't have to be super exact. An important detail, I think I mentioned this a moment ago, but let me just emphasize it here. The beekeeper ratios of 1-to-1 are based on weight, not based on volume. Just so that I'm clear, the next part I'm going to show you here is the wrong way to make 1-to-1 sugar water by just filling up a quart jar with sugar. And then I'm going to explain to you how close volume is to weight. And you fill up a quart jar all the way with sugar, and then you fill it up with water, whatever spaces that are in between the sugar granules. You're making 2-to-1 sugar water. You're not making 1-to-1 sugar water. So 1-to-1 by volume is not the same as 1-to-1 by weight. So I'm going to show you how to do it very simply here in just a moment. But what if you took a full quart of sugar and a full quart of water and mixed them into like a gallon pail? That would be true volume. Well, you'd have about 16% less sugar that way as opposed to if you did it by weight. So again, it's pretty close. Let's just take this whole concept of the ratio of sugar and solids to water a step further by comparing it to honey. So 1-to-1 sugar water is about 50% sugar, 50% water. We already said that most of the nectar in the environment is about 30% sugar and about 70% water, so it's a little bit thinner. What actually is honey? Well, what the bees do is, let's just say they're using nectar. They take that nectar, 70% water or moisture, and they fan that down till it gets down to around 18.5%, and then that honey is ripe. So they actually are going to evaporate the water out of that and retain the solids, mixing them with their enzymes, etc., in order to make this substance that we call honey now. But so you know, just like by comparison, honey is about 18% moisture and about 82% solids. So it's very dense concentration of sugars inside of honey. So let's talk about how can we simply make sugar water. And here's the formula I want to give you. If you want to make 1 quart jar of sugar water, here's a very simple way to do it. Take a quart jar, fill it halfway with sugar. This is going to be about 15 ounces of sugar. And then backfill the rest of the jar with water, and then just shake it up. Use warm water. Don't use hot water. Don't use boiling water. Don't use anything other than white refined sugar. That's what's best. But if you backfill it, you're going to put in about 15 ounces of water. Shake it up until all the sugars dissolve, and you have 1-to-1 sugar water. As I mentioned before, if you fill this jar all the way up thinking I'm making 1-to-1 sugar water, you're doing it by volume, and you're actually making 2-to-1 sugar water, which is still used by beekeepers, but is typically used early fall through the early winter time in order to help the bees store up some additional resources for overwintering. 1-to-1 sugar water is thinner, and it actually, because it resembles nectar, stimulates the queen to lay, it stimulates the young nurse bees to build out comb much better than the 2-to-1. The bees with 2-to-1 are going to be more apt to just store that. 1-to-1, because it's closer to nectar, they're going to use that, make royal jelly, build comb, the queen to lay, etc. All of those things that really stimulate that hive when that nectar flow is coming in. And so, if you start with a half of a quart of sugar and then fill it up with warm water, shake it, you're going to end up with this exactly. And I did this just to double check my math with exactly 15 ounces of sugar, and then I put exactly 15 ounces of water in it, and you can see it filled the jar up completely, and I have 1 quart, and this is 1-to-1 sugar water. And it's very simple to make. And so you don't actually have to get out a scale or anything. Just if you're making a quart jar, fill it up halfway and then fill the rest of it with sugar. Now, what would happen if I went ahead and filled this top inch up with additional water? Well, I'd be making it just a little bit thinner than 1-to-1. Instead of 50-50, I might be at 45% sugar and 55% water. But again, that's very much in the range to where the bees are going to treat it much like they would treat nectar. Now, you can add something like this. This is Hive Alive, not a sponsored video. There's another product that's very similar to this, and unfortunately, it is slipping my mind right now. It's a brown bottle with a yellow label, and it is slipping my mind the name of it. I use both of them equally. Don't really see a tremendous amount of difference between the two of them. You'll add just the smallest bit of this to your quart of sugar water, because if you were making a gallon, you would use 2 teaspoons of this. So for a quart, you're going to use a half of a teaspoon of this. Just the tiniest bit is all that you need. Now this can add a little bit of nutritional value to your sugar water, but just be aware that it is highly attractive to the bees, the scent that is in there, and it can draw a lot of other bees and sometimes can cause robbing situations, especially if you use it over the course of the summer or the fall. And I guess related to this, I would pop in here. Some of you are going to say, well, when do I need to feed my bees? Do I always need to feed my bees, etc.? And some people might even say, I'm never going to feed my bees. I'm just going to let them figure it out or whatever. And different people have different approaches to beekeeping. That's the wonderful thing about beekeeping, is you can kind of do it the way you wish to do it. If you have plenty of honey on your hives, you don't have to feed your bees. But if you're a beginning beekeeper, first 2-3 years, you're still trying to draw out comb, get that hive established, have plenty of stores over the winter, you're going to need to be keeping an eye on feeding your bees throughout a good portion of the year. Not during the nectar flow and maybe not during early summer, but if you notice that they're starting to eat down their honey stores, you want to keep that queen laying to build up that colony for overwinter. The first couple of years, feeding is pretty regular. Then sometimes as your hive gets more established, you can cut back and just feed intentionally. So for me, with my hives, I feed early spring before the nectar flow starts. I'll feed in March to build up that colony, build up that population, so that when April 1st hits, they have a big group of foraging bees that are ready to go to work. Then I also have to feed sometimes over the course of the summer dearth. Not all of my colonies, but typically my first year colonies, my weaker colonies, I'll have to feed them. And then I will sometimes keep an eye and do one last feeding throughout the late fall if I notice that some hives don't have enough honey stored to make it over the winter. But I also will sometimes equalize and not feed then as well. So feeding and when to feed and when not to feed is probably a whole nother discussion for a whole nother video. But today I really just wanted to zero in on this particular issue of how do I simply make sugar water? How does it compare to nectar in the environment as far as the ratio of sugar to water? And kind of go over some basics there so that make sure that you can feel confident and know what you're doing when it comes to making sugar water. And above all, I want to emphasize, it does not need to be exact. If it's a little bit thinner or a little bit thicker, the bees will still enjoy it. They'll still use it. They might use it a little bit differently, especially if it's thicker than a little bit thinner. But don't panic over getting it exactly right. The bees are pretty adaptable to anything that we give them as long as it's got some sugar in it. Hey, after all, you knock over a Coke can in August, the bees are going to be drinking the Coca-Cola or the Pepsi that you spilled. And I don't really know what the sugar density is as far as a ratio. That would be actually kind of fun to do. You know what? Just for kicks, I have my phone with me. I'm just going to ask Claude. We got nothing else to do today. It's a hot busy. Let's ask Claude what the ratio of sugar to water is like in a soft drink. Okay. All right. So Claude, I just want to let you know you're live on my video right now.
All right. Goodbye.
No, don't say goodbye. I need your help. I want to ask a question to you, and we're going to do it live here on my video. Okay. So here's the question. We've been talking about sugar water, 1-to-1 versus 2-to-1, etc. I thought it would be fun for you to tell us what is the ratio of sugar to water in a soft drink, like a can of Coca-Cola or Pepsi or something like that.
Soft drinks are basically candy syrup, and while bees love candy, they need the one-to-one for proper nutrition. Yeah, you caught me being sloppy with my math on air. Let me be clear, 39 grams of sugar and 12 ounces of liquid. That's roughly 1 part sugar to about 2.5 parts water by weight.
So when I asked the AI to explain it further, it got it all botched up and backward. The bottom line is 1-to-1 bee syrup is about 5 times more concentrated than soda and sugar. Kind of a little bit of a surprise to me. I kind of thought it might be the other way around. All right, thanks. Hey, listen, you're famous because you're on my YouTube channel.
Well, I'm just here to help you make good content. Get back to recording. Your viewers are waiting.
Okay, well, there you go. I'm going to chime right in here and just mention a couple of things real quick. Number one, if you have not hit like and subscribe, please do so. And if you leave a comment, it sure helps me in regard to the algorithm that you interacted with this video. And there's a little opportunity if you leave a comment to hype the video if you're on a mobile device. I would appreciate it if you want to give some hype points. It really helps my channel to grow. So I want to ask you, are you interested in doing a live question and answer with me on a Sunday night, talking about perhaps the summer dearth right now, how to prepare for it and plan for it? And I was thinking about doing a live. I've never done a live before, but I was thinking about doing a live session. Really interested to see how many people might be interested in doing that here in the next couple of weeks. So if you are, leave a little word down in the comment section to say yes to the live session. I have a fly flying around my face here. Go away. So if you're interested, just put the word yes to live down in the comments and we'll set up a question and answer time together, maybe a brief teaching along with it, and talk about summer beekeeping. It'd probably be on a Sunday evening, 6 or 7 Eastern time would be what I would be looking at as far as an available time slot. All right, take care.